Hello, everybody. I will be discussing about naturalism. So let's take a look at the literary map. So naturalism is a literary movement from the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The term was first used by a French art critic named Jules Antoine Castanery, which referred to a so-called naturalist school of painting. So Emile Zola later adopted the term for literature, which is often used in narratives. So this movement is heavily influenced by Darwinism, and it attempted to portray realistic situations, often partnered with determinism, distinction, pessimism, and lack of free will. So basically, in naturalism, anything that happened could be traced back to genetic or environmental causes, since humans cannot exactly defeat the power of external forces. So naturalism gives us an honest depiction of reality rather than an idealistic and beautiful life. So although realism and naturalism are somewhat almost similar in that aspect, the difference is that realism characters in a narrative actually sticks to their morals and are able to choose their own path rather than be faced by a predetermined death or misery like how naturalism characters are subjected to. So naturalism in literature is often focused on the vices of human misery, such as analyzing characters like they are animals because of their reliance to instinct. So just remember that naturalist writers illustrate the truthfulness of life rather than the commonly favored beautiful perspective of life. Because, not an idealistic reality. So it's definitely no avoidance of the ugly truth. So in this literary map, I've placed key characteristics of naturalism in the clouds, it's above here, and it's followed by historical, social, and political literary developments such as Charles Darwin's beliefs and how Emile Zola adapted the term for literature, and how most of the naturalist stories are shaped or influenced by war since they are depressing in nature. And it also it's evident how sad reality is. And so it has same general rules and principles that governs the natural world and the social world. And it somewhat relates to how we have innate and unchangeable parts of human selves. And so it has life without idealism or avoidance of anything that is ugly, like I've mentioned before. So then we also have three prominent writers that I've wrote here. One of them is Ernest Hemingway. He is known for his narratives that often involve death. So his works has a negative commentary of the modern world. One of those notable works is The Old Man and the Sea. So there is the depiction of environmental determinism. Despite Hemingway's belief that lovers aren't always together in the end and should always end up dead in the end, he always manages to let his characters fall to their demise, yet at the same time, he shows grace under their own pressure. Because like human misery always are under pressure. So Hemingway was also a huge influence in authors like J.D. Salinger. So the second prominent writer is Theodore Dreiser. He is very known for his novel Sister Carrie, which is also heavily influenced by Darwinism. So the story reflects life as truthful rather than beautiful. It's like how his main character is a small town girl moving to a big town, and she was abused by men, and her own lover committed suicide. So it's very evident how her life is predetermined to misery. And lastly, Jack London. He is also known for his story or novel Call of the Wind because one of his characters rely on instinct. And since the character was kidnapped, he had to fight to survive. So it's like the unspoken rule, which is either be dead or you have to kill someone to survive. So Jack London managed to show the readers that there is no goodness or kindness in this world, like how reality is, because there's always like dreadful future or something that's unexpected that's about to happen in the future. So yeah, the ending they're always bound to fail. So basically, naturalism is just a frank treatment of humanity and the portrayal of both men and women overwhelmed by blind forces of nature. subjected to their predetermined misery. So one's hereditary and social environment determines one's character and influence the actions of these characters. So basically, that's like the gist of the whole naturalism literary movement. Yeah. So yeah, that's the end of my discussion. Thank you for listening.